How about this? How often do you lie to your spouse?
How often you lie to your spouse, Jeff? How often you lie to me?
How often do I lie to you? Out of what percent? On 3, we're gonna say our percent of the percent of times that we stretch the truth. And I'm talking about lie. We gotta define a lie because people who lie don't be knowing what lies they're talking about. So a lie is anything that's not the truth or something that's not even disclosing the truth.
Okay.
Okay. I want you to say what you tell me. Are you 100% or less than that? All right. Okay. On 3, don't lie. On 3. All right. 1, 2, 3, 89. You didn't even say nothing.
89%? You lie to me 89%?
No, 89% is the truth. You know what I'm
saying? Okay, got it. Okay, so I'm happy you said that because I was about to say 10%.
So you 10% the truth?
No.
Oh.
I was thinking how like lie, like I 10% lie. So that means 90%. Then.
Okay, so about to say bucket in. So you listen to watching it. What percent do you lie to your spouse? And the lying folks gonna be like, I don't lie. You might be lying right there. Saying that, and so what percent do they lie to you?
Do we lie to protect our spouse?
I know men do. If your husband's not listening to this, or you the husband, or you dating, or y'all get whatever it is, you lie to women because y'all can't handle the truth.
Lies.
Y'all, that's the truth.
You capping, bro. As Jason Melissa, you capping, bro.
That's the truth.
We can't say lie anymore in our house. We have to say capping. You remember how it used to be? You can't say lie. You have to say you have to tell a story.
I wonder how much what percent of what our parents say that they lie to each other. That's what I learn to hear that stuff. But today
I think our parents lied more.
You think lie? More?
I think now our generation is becoming more like transparent. Like we don't have we don't have much to lose.
Why did they lie to? Why our parents lie to us?
I don't know. I think it's one of those things where they didn't. I think communication was more challenging for our parents. You know what I'm saying? I think, so they had to, like you lied about finance. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Shout out to our parents. We love y'all.
Yeah, love y'all. Why were y'all lying? Why were you lying? Drop in the comments. Let us know why you were lying.
Yes. And honestly, I believe the generation coming behind us, I think theirs may go because they really don't care.
They be putting this out the first day. I ain't gonna do this.
I ain't gonna do this.
In-service orientation. I ain't gonna do this.
This is not for me.
I'm just gonna go ahead. Do I get paid for this 17 minutes I've been working here today? What is going on? Yes. And so I really talk about that today. If you don't know who we are, thank y'all. Yes. Go ahead and stop for a moment right now. Some of y'all been shaking with us. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and like, share it with your cousin them. Your cousin. We want to make y'all a part of the MF.
Mr. Family.
Mr. Family. You're MF right now. And so being a part of that real quick. I'm Jeffrey, Mr. aka Mr. Right beside me is my wife of almost 16 years.
Dana, Mr. aka Mrs. Mr. And together we are the
Mr. So starting off, Dana, when was the time that you felt like you had to lie to me?
Okay, so I have a confession. Uh-oh. I have a confession. Whenever I'm with the kids and we call each other like, hey, what's at the house? And he be telling us, oh, we got this. We be putting them on mute and we be already in the drive.
I knew that. I knew y'all were lying. I was like, the phone don't go out every time you're trying to talk. So you admit.
I probably need to stop that because I'm teaching my kids about
And is that not messed
up? No, it's not. We're not lying.
You are lying. That's the point. You are lying. You are lying when you say that is lying. When you say what's going to happen and you don't respond, that is lying. Yeah. And so to give some context to it, I try to provide healthy meals at home for my family. I try to provide them with non-processed meals that will keep them living and get the energy and strength they need. Because someone said, I'm tired, I'm broke down at the end of the day. You saw the episode with Erica. If you haven't seen it, that's what women were saying. Go back and see that.
Get a salad for Chick-fil-A. Does that count?
Go back and listen to the episode. Thank you, Erica. Shoot, man, appreciate you.
Yes.
And so I said, you know what? When problems happen, I don't know if you know this. I try to think of a solution and execute a solution. So I was like, okay, you tired, baby? You tired? You don't feel good tonight?
I get a
Let me make some meals for us. And so when I call, because this is what happened before. I make a meal on our Instagram page, go to our Instagram page, Mr. Mrs. Miss Mr.Mrs.Mistr. There's an old video. Then it comes in. I didn't cook. Now it's hamburger helper, whatever you want to say. But it is a home cook. And I had some salad, everything. So I get in, and she come in with a bag, like, I never say, I never knew. I'm like, oh, helper, you knew I had this stuff down. And so,
what can I say?
You said you lie. You can apologize and do better. That's the point.
Okay. So, what about you? When is the time that you lied to me?
I think the time I lie is like when. Like if I'm supposed to be somewhere at a certain time.
Absolutely. I was like, Jeff, you almost to the church. You bringing the kids? They be just leaving the house. Or no, he be in the bathroom.
You had the reason why. You got to ask yourself, why men don't
because he don't want to hear me fuss.
You don't want to.
You don't want to hear me fuss.
Why y'all late for? Does that make me?
But my thing is, but this is the thing. I know one particular time. Prime example. I had got up, tidied up the house, made sure the clothes was out, everything. All they had to do was just put on. All you have to do is put on the clothes and get in the car.
She leaves me to get the kids ready to get ready. So she does the things that don't. Ain't no kids
involved. I pre-plan. It's not like you have to go in there and find something, argue with them.
These kids, you gotta try to get them up. They get through, and then on the night,
they're a little slow, like they did. They be like, Malia go, and she be like,
people who are slow to live longer. People who are slow to live longer because they don't take life. They going like, man, we go by the way, go by the west side. So that's the thing for me is the fact of like being able to, say, tell you the truth on times when it's there. When do you lie to most of your spouse? And the why? The why of mine is because of like, the final destination is to get there to a point. It's like if you fall and your spouse says, why you fell for? Like, I'm down here now. It don't make a difference. So that's my logic behind it.
So ultimately, most people lie is to avoid an argument.
Well, we'll see. Yeah. It's three main reasons. Yeah. And this is what I've been doing some reading. Mm-hmm. This is a book we got to read together.
Mm-hmm. Her needs.
Yes.
His needs, her needs.
Yes. By Willard
Harley
Jr. Not the original. Willard Harley Jr. And so great book.
You have to turn around. You turn around.
Oh, show him Willard Harley Jr. Yes. Great book. His needs, her needs. Great book. Yes. Salute to that brother. Came out a little while back.
Look like a pretty old book.
It don't listen. The knowledge don't change, baby. The knowledge don't change. This is what I'm trying to say. So you all agree to read this book with me?
Absolutely, baby. Our anniversary, we'll start. We're gonna be gone. We'll be gone for 8 days, 7 nights.
It's 7 days, but this
no, it's not. It's 8 days, 7 nights. I know how to count. Okay. It's from Saturday to Saturday.
Okay. Yeah.
We're going to Puerto Rico.
So and so I got a chance to plan it this time.
Yes, he did. He canceled my trip. We were supposed to be going. Hold on.
More economical than hers.
We were supposed to be going to Sandals Carousel. And my thing is because he don't want to pay that type of money for the flight.
But none of it's the same.
Yeah. I'm getting there. I'm coming for you, Sandals Carousel.
And not today. It won't be this time. So I want to get into this today. I want to think about these 3 reasons why. So do not go anywhere. List these 3 reasons. I want you to think about yourself first because easy way to put it and saying, so reflect on yourself first as we go through these, right?
Okay.
All right, the first one is
number one.
3 kind of lying spouses. 3 kind of lying spouses. Number 1 is the born liar. From an early age, he or she continues to tell small lies.
That is horrible.
Born liar. What do you think that means?
That means you've been lying since you were born.
You can look at that baby. You can look at a lying baby. And look at that baby.
But you know what? I'll come across people like that. It doesn't matter like how big or how small. Like it could be something insignificant. Insignificant. Hold on, let me finish this. It could be something insignificant. You be like, you know they lied, and you like, well, why you have to lie about that? You ain't got to lie to kick it.
Why you always lying? Yeah. So the born liar, is that you? Or are you married to a born liar? Let me give you a description. From an early age, he or she continued to tell small lies about inconsequential.
So basically insignificant
stuff that don't matter. Stuff that don't matter.
Yeah.
They fabricate stories about events in their past and constantly distorts the truth in almost unnoticeable ways. Just a little bit of lies they telling right there. A chronic liar finds it nearly impossible to consistently admit the truth about himself or herself. So even they've been lying so long from birth, they find it almost impossible.
Because when but do they believe it themselves? Though?
Yeah, I've been lying so long. This is just a part of who I am. I'm just lying, and that you may be that person.
Wow,
but the hard part about this is you listen right now. You don't even realize it's you because you
start
to formalize. That's the tough part. Yeah, you start to formalize thinking that you are telling the truth in there and you really lying it there. So if you married to that person, you're saying, man, what do I do with that? It's going to be a hard life. I have to change them.
But people like that, you have to start to call them out on their stuff.
And
so my thing is, you have to be able, but you have to have proof. Like my thing is, because if you truly especially if you're significant others like that, you're gonna have to call them out on their stuff. You got to have receipts because otherwise they be like, what you talking about?
I went over there.
Yeah.
I didn't leave that out. Yeah. I didn't put that cup over there.
Yeah. And my thing is, for parents with kids like that, go ahead and start calling them out on the stuff. Don't let them slide.
So
don't let them slide.
Be a habitual lie spouse to somebody else.
Yes.
You're supposed to. So so call them out on lies, get the receipts, talk about it.
Because sometimes Jack's gonna be like, and you can tell they lie like Jack. Come on now.
They know.
We'll call them out on that stuff.
They be knowing. So if you are married to a person like that, it's just like you said, the receipts. It's still going to be tough because they've been lying so long.
They believe in themselves. Yeah,
and they'll get mad at you for being a victim to the lie they told for you telling them that they lying. Yeah. So it's a crazy situation, whatever like that. Yeah. So you nip in the bud, receipts, talk about it. Communication is key because somebody listening right now probably thinking, man, they just lying. So I'm just going to kind of go with it. No, talk about it. Call them out. Yeah. Be specific about what the expectation is. And what came about from that place. And so hopefully it'll work to them. And just, getting them to be vulnerable with situations like that.
Because there's a reason why they're lying. Number one, they're either trying to avoid something, they don't want to face the facts. Or another thing is that some people, like they were saying, some people want to create a story or something that's more than what it really is. It makes you be the hero. Yeah.
If you ever talk to somebody and they've never done anything to anybody, it's always everybody has done something to them. Every relationship, every job they've been on, every person they've been around. Everybody's done something.
It can't be everybody.
And you ain't seen nothing about yourself. You got this. So the first one.
Number two.
And we're talking about 3 kinds of lying spouses. The avoid trouble liar.
Yeah, this is most people. Most people following this.
I think I fit in this.
I know I fit in this category.
To avoid trouble, you think, man, what's the trouble that comes up? And let's go here. So, all right. So they only lie when there is pressure or a significant problem that's coming up. So they know what's happening. There's a problem coming. If I tell the truth, it's going to be like this. So to avoid trouble, scenario, right? So suppose a husband, I'll put a husband so we can turn to this. A husband is in charge of booking the babysitter for this weekend. And the wife acts on Monday saying, hey, babe, you book the babysitter for this week?
This has happened before.
Yeah. Sure enough.
Ain't booked to buy nobody.
So this is the boy trouble. This is number 2. So he's thinking in his head, I got plenty of time to do it.
But you know how time goes. Time is filled with swift transition.
Swift transition. So he goes through, he tells a yes at that moment because he has great and all intentions to book that babysitter. Goes through, comes up Friday. The wife says, hey,
I'm ready.
Make sure.
She done got fine.
She got cleaned up. So now that morning, he's thinking, all right, I got time before the time. And so he goes golfing, watch the game, watch the car, goes to something, whatever.
They realize, I don't got no sitter.
6:30 p.m. comes. She said, all right, babe, what time it's supposed to be? He said, oh, man. So now he's realizing, snap, I did not call the sitter. So now the wife calls the sitter.
And said, where you at?
And she says, oh, nobody ever called me. I was never on the books to be there. So now the husband says this stuff. Oh, we don't need to use her anymore. She's obviously got some drug problems, something going on that's not working. I don't know why she would say that because I called her. And so to avoid trouble, he would even push blame on somebody
else. Yeah.
Where have you found yourself in a situation like that before? I know for me, and I'm gonna speak for me a lot of times too, we forgive. I was talking to my mom yesterday, and she was saying my dad would always forget her birthday and their anniversary.
Really?
All the time. And she would wait till the next day. Mom, you listen. She waits till the next day and be like, happy birthday to me. And he'd be like, oh, snap, your birthday? She's like, yesterday. So he'd be like, hold on, sit right here. I'm gonna go get something real quick. And so I think, what I had from the conversation I had with her yesterday was it was the fact. And so those moments with the fact of just, if it's a priority, you remember those things. Men, sometimes women, it's mostly men in those cases that forget those birthdays, anniversaries.
Yeah.
It's just the fact of
I love birthdays.
You do. You do. So, but growing up, we used to try to help my dad remember before that time. Like, Dad, all right, you got 7 days coming up, Mom's birthday coming up, or y'all anniversary coming up.
Yeah.
For them to kind of think.
And now, ladies, let's just help them out. Now we have technology unlike our parents have. Just send a Google Calendar request. Now we put everybody's birthdays because now it's so many people, and now we done added like in-laws and all of that stuff. So now it is a lot of birthday, and Facebook is definitely the king of reminding. So now just help them out. Just go ahead and send them that request. I did. But Jimmy, you're kind of pretty good with remembering.
Yeah, so anniversary.
And then mine is right beside our anniversary.
Yeah, so you remember that. So so that's never my issue. But I know a lot of guys are. They're like, "What's the big deal?" Like they don't see the same thing. But
dates are hard for some people to remember.
You can be on the couch, and for women who think the couch is that, men be enjoying themselves on the couch. But that's another whole different story. We can talk about that.
Yeah.
So one of the points I want to talk about this is in saying, all right, the avoid trouble liars. Number 2, in the born liars, number 1, have one thing in common. Their lying rarely is thought out, but rather impulsive and poorly planned.
Like so they just pick us up.
Usually to you. Yeah. Hold on, catch it.
And look, and don't ask no questions. So, and then this is how you can really catch somebody up. Like, and I'm a person, I ask questions. I won't say you're lying. I just ask a whole bunch of questions behind it because eventually you go think, dang, like she on to me. Like,
like, and women good about asking questions. I don't know if they're reversed. If men start asking questions, we need to start doing that. Asking questions, women. So you say you spent how much now, Target? So what was the budget for Amazon? You got that down? So all right. These people usually have what psychologists call a character disorder. In regards to this, is something that they have to work through. And sometimes it's possible to bring this type of liar into honest communication by making their spouse aware of the way stress triggers a dishonest reaction. So if I'm coming, like in the situation of coming up, of saying, man, like, I don't want to. So, all right, going back to the example I was saying, if I haven't left the house, when you call and saying your expectation me to be,
Ben, where you supposed to be 30 minutes ago?
So I'm saying, okay, let's role play that real quick. It's a quick thing. All right.
Ring.
Oh snap! Here you go. All right, kid, get your shoes on. Kid, get your shoes on.
And I know this is how it goes. Hey Jeffrey, how far are you guys from the church?
Yeah, we on the way. We on the way right now.
So when you say on the way, are you just now leaving the house?
Normally we'd be like, or if the text message, like, let me pause and respond till we get on the way, and I can respond and tell you that we're on the way. But if I'm using this and saying,
but see, now the kids, those kids will sell you out. The kids be in the background. Mommy, we just left the house. We getting our shoes
I just got in the bathtub.
Or Jeff will be like, Dana, but these kids, I've been trying to tell them, come on, kids, let's go.
That is true. That is
so they be blaming the kids.
That's true. But like being able to say, so okay, now flip it around. Okay, you say, how far?
Yeah. So Jeff, how far are you guys from the house?
Okay. I feel anxiety and stress inside because I feel like the truth is going to bring on more turmoil. So what would you like to hear in this moment? Would you like to hear the truth?
I want to hear the truth because I already know y'all are still in the house.
Well, why do you ask the question if you know
because I want you to omit. I want you to omit.
So you can, but that's the whole point of men saying, some men struggle taking trash out, right? I was in a couple class and this lady was like, he needs to take the trash out, which he does. I feel like he does. And so he needs to remember that piece. But like being able to talk about that. So how can y'all help the men? So speaking for wives, how can you say, you already know we haven't left the house or that brother haven't taken the trash out at that point in time when you call? How can you say something that doesn't trigger them? On the next time I'm thinking, oh no, I don't want to experience the next thing that happened before. Every man want to tell women the truth, but we just don't want to experience what happened before. What do we need to do in that moment?
I want you to just say the truth. I want you to say.
But if that's it, you miss the point I'm saying. If I tell you the truth, I'm gonna get with the negative consequence that I'm trying to avoid.
No. How about this? How about you do what I say? So I'm gonna say, so now I try my best to help him. Now I do give earlier times because therefore he won't be caught up in his lie. Yeah. So therefore now if like, I'd be like, Jeff, we have to be at this place. I give him like a 30-minute window earlier time, only because I know it takes him and now I two precious kids a little bit longer. You want one more kid. and I'm gonna get one. Look, I told y'all, let me tell y'all something. Let me put it right here on this podcast. No, let me know. Jeff don't give me a baby. Y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and tell y'all right now. No. I'm tell you right now. I'm gonna tell you myself. And just don't give me another baby. There's gonna be some problems. Okay.
Hold on. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. See, you need to fix yourself together. That's the trigger. That's the anxiety for me now. Women bring me anxiety. Y'all bring me anxiety.
Saying, oh, the nurse is getting a divorce. He wouldn't give me another baby.
Wow. Okay. That's right. Look, we're gonna take this and hold it. The last one, number three.
Number three.
Number three is the protector lie. And this is a lot of men that stand in this place. Mm-hmm. This spouse believes the truth would just be too much for his spouse. His wife, mostly. The guys typically. So they lie in order to protect their spouse. Mm-hmm. You want to hear an example? So, for example, the family faces a financial emergency. Mm-hmm. And the husband
most of the time, these are big issues.
These are something. So let's say,
this is usually like adultery or mortgage or like,
I guess it could be. Yeah, true. I can see that too. Yeah. I was thinking more, the first example is on like thinking about something that let's say the husband is providing. Most of them.
And he was responsible for paying the mortgage.
Yes. And so let's say they cut his hours or something at work. And so it's getting a little bit behind. He's 2 months behind on the mortgage. He's saying, you know what? I'm going to go borrow this money. I'm going to work a side hustle. I'm going to pay it off. I don't want to have to stress her out. Because when I tell her stuff, she's not able to handle it. So when I tell her this is what's going on, then it's like she don't sleep. Then she's asking me every few minutes, what we gonna do, Joe? What we gonna do, Joe? What we gonna do, Joe? So to avoid it, I'm going to take care of it. I'm just not going to tell her about that. Now, so the problem with this is the wife remains unaware of the pressure that he feels. So for example, if she comes to her saying, hey, babe, rub me on my shoulder, and I'm looking like this.
Oh, you tense, baby.
And I'm fine. And so now you don't know the pressure that I'm under. You're thinking, what's wrong with him? Because I don't trust that you can handle what's happening in that moment. Situation. But I'm going through it. That's why men die sooner too. I talk about that all the time. Talk about it on stage. Stand up coming. She finds it hard to understand when he's going through that. Now, also, if his plan backfires, if he borrows money and it doesn't work out, now he tells her the day that the sheriff comes in and says, you guys are evicted. How does that conversation come up? So let's say, for example, somebody knocked the door now saying, hey, here's eviction notice for this house. What would be your initial response?
What in the world? Oh, it may be some other.
I was gonna say, but that's what. And so, you see what I'm saying? Yeah. I didn't let you in on. They didn't give us 19 notices before we got this last. They shut knock on the door. Yeah, I just didn't.
And I'm gonna be like, "What you mean?" Like Jeff, and then I'm gonna recurrent.
So let's say I'm at work trying to get the money. The sheriff going like, "Y'all got till COB today to get out." You're like, "What you mean?" I'm cooking a pot roast. And so now you're shot. Now you call me. Yeah. Now the delivery of me telling you the truth. Yeah. How would that make you feel? Would you rather know in the beginning, or would you rather?
I would rather know in the beginning. Like now, I don't like those type of surprises. I love surprises, but I don't like those type of surprises. So I think another thing too. I think it's two sides of this, right? I believe as women. Because it gets to a point like that just doesn't happen overnight. It's things that's done build up over time. It's things that's done build up over time. The reason why your significant other can't come to you, right? And that could be male or female, right? So therefore, if you let me in, therefore, when your significant other comes to you with an issue, whether small or big, we have to be conscious of how we respond, right? Because I don't want to be caught off guard. I don't want no sheriff coming on my door.
Get out.
So my thing is you have to make sure, when your significant other come to you, whether small or big, you like, okay, let me think. before I react. Ooh. So I can make sure that I respond in a kind way. Ooh. And so that's the reason why I have started taking the question approach, only because it gives me an opportunity to calm myself down, right? And so that's
you hit it right on here. That's what men been trying to get women to say. They don't. This brother, whoever his brother is, don't want to tell his.
He don't want to be a bitch.
He don't want to be a bitch either. He's probably trying his darndest to get that thing paid to get it done. He just don't want the trouble of that. Plus, having to deal with the emotional side.
Because my thing is, if you're my counterpart, we're in this together, right? My thing is, you tell me at the beginning, hey, babe, like, look. It's hard for me to meet these bills. Okay, I need to get a side hustle too. Like something needs to happen. Like we need to make sure we're in this thing together. Or heck, we may need to go ahead if we feel like we're not going to be able to, maintain the home. We need to sell the home. The market good now. We can get the money. We can downgrade. I mean, there's different things that we could do. But don't think like you have to be in that by yourself.
I'm glad you said that. Ooh, because a lot of men listen right now saying, I want to do what Dana's saying. I want to do what Miss Missa just said. But you are not a safe place for me to share.
You have to, you have to create a safe place for your significant other.
But that's what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about the movie Dead Presidents when he got the main character, Lorenz Tate played. If y'all know it, drop in the comments. Lorenz Tate played a character in there. He comes back from the war overseas. He's trying to get a job. It's hard. He's black. He's a black man trying to get a job. His girl come to him. She's pregnant. She has a baby. She stops saying, "You need to do something." And he's like, "Man, I'm trying the best I can." And so this other guy comes and he like, "Oh, you got this dude right here. I have money all in his pocket." So somebody he loved was not a safe place for him. So he goes and was not interested in like robbing this armored truck, all this thing. But people, you watch the movie, I don't want to spoil it for you. But he gets involved in that because he could not trust his woman in the moment of his weakest moment. And so men, for women, do not throw it back in a man's face. You're supposed to be a man. Mm-hmm. My dad told me
don't ever say anything about questioning manhood.
And so that erodes, like you said, a nugget then. That erodes their trust. It didn't come to that point that you didn't want to share.
That wasn't overnight.
It was little things over and over again. He said, I can. Before this comes up, I can't trust her with it because she gonna overreact. I'll shoot her, get on the phone and say, "Girl, you know we ain't got but 90 days." And he's thinking like, "Man, my job is the man to be a man, and I'm not taking care of it."
Yeah,
I feel it hurts me at the core. And so if she don't see me like this, so when I go to and try to get some, you want to put your hands on me, you can't put your hands on them. Even those comments hurt men tremendously. And so those you talk to Nugget right there, and somebody listen right now like, That's me. Y'all had that conversation for real, like, and tell them when did that trust start to get eroded? When were incidents in ladies or men like be able to accept that and say, I didn't know I was doing that. And many times you hear it from your folks, your parents' situation, them saying something too that'll get there. So that's number 3. And it's one other point I want to say.
And I think the number one question you have to ask yourself is, to your significant other, how vulnerable are you with me? Right. And I believe that will help lead to, because the goal is to have more so a transparent, honest communication with your significant
radical
others.
Honesty,
right?
we talk about.
And so I think is you don't even, like I say, whether the small things or the big things, because at the end of the day, Jeff know I'm gonna bring some food home. Like he knows this, right? And so I just being honest, just like at the end of the day, I know Jeff is going to be late, but how can we help each other, right? So for me, I give Jeff a 30-minute earlier time window to help him out because I know he's going to be late. That's a part of who he is. And what do we say? We can't change the core of who people are, right? You can't change them, right? For Jeff, he knows. I was gonna say my okay, go ahead.
And so for Dana, I know she's gonna try to buy that food. So what I try to do is I call proactively. As soon as she take it, before she get in the car, I say, "Hey, Dana." And I might have the kids. And this is one of the things that hurt me when I fixed food for the kids and then they see her bring food in.
They
be like, "Oh, y'all sent a private message to your mama to get food?"
Malia show will.
And so that's why I'm like, did you contact me?
But I did contact you yesterday.
I contacted you yesterday
because Malia told me it was only 2 hot dogs left, real hot dogs.
And I was like, lies they tell, because it was 2 apiece and I had some sides, some salad, all that stuff right there. And I would be like, well, who on team? I said, you forget what them kids say. You contact me and go through. And I'll be like, no, y'all want to have y'all outside food yourself and get down to it. And so going to the point you said. So what I try to do is, all right, so instead of me getting upset later and then making the videos and posting Instagram and whatever, I would try to call and say proactively, now I'm about to put something on to cook. Are we under understanding of this piece of we have understanding?
And then sometimes I'll be like, child, let me tell you something, I'm just gonna go ahead and get this food anyway.
And so at least
so
that's my thing. I just want to know his time. I don't want to put forth the time and effort for something that's going to be futile or whatever. That'd be my thing. I'd be like, well, I could have just made something myself then. Okay. So being able to had a radical
because you know your significant other.
You know and listen for yourself. And some people don't. You may be born like, you're like, I ain't got no, I don't. But listen to what your spouse says and not what you perceive all the time of who you think you are. It comes off of saying, like, how do they receive what you have? And you said a nugget too. Of just saying it's a women saying right now, I'm a safe place for my man. Ask him and see what he says. Ask him. He's I do all this side of it. What you say?
Because of me too, Jeff. We was booking our flights and whatnot. He was like, "Hey, before I signed up for the Saver thing, are we taking any more trips for this year?" I was like, "I'm gonna go ahead and tell you now, yes."
And that's why.
And he was like, "Well, when did we?"
Receipts.
I said, "Labor Day weekend." So therefore, he won't be caught off surprise.
I'm completely involved in this now. I am, and so most women who write us are saying they men are horrible communicators. They don't communicate well. They don't. I try to be the complete opposite of that, saying, "All right, what, when, and how." And so, in the
asking those three questions right there, you can get a whole lot.
And I keep receipts out too. And I confirm again, like on the food thing. This is what I've heard you say. This is what I'm expecting to happen. What is your understanding of what this situation is? And it avoids later arguments, silent treatments, all of those things that you have there. You can be able to talk about that and see. The last piece of number 3. And so if you have those, I'm gonna go back on again. Number 1, 3 kinds of lying spouses. The born liar, is that you? You were born the avoid trouble liar, the one that you're trying to avoid trouble. I know I've been that way before sometimes. And the protector, I want to protect my spouse because I don't feel like they're strong enough in that place. And many of you are there, had a conversation with your spouse. And women, be open to what he says, or vice versa too, if the woman is trying to protect that man in those places well. And think about, many times, it may not be protecting the spouse, it may be trying to protect myself. I don't want to get caught in whatever I'm saying in the situation. So being able to have those honest communications there, of going there and building up that trust of that. So any question here is, how honest do you want me to be when you have that conversation with each other? How honest do you want me to be with each other? We started saying 90.
And I would say this too. Now, sometimes y'all, and I know we was talking about like with booking and people being late, but sometimes the truth will hurt. It's going to be disappointing. It's going to be all of those things. And what I want to say is, and shout out to Solify Wellness, is talking about like embracing. We mentioned this when we even had the conversation with her, is embracing those emotions. Like, it's okay to be disappointed in your spouse. It's okay to be hurt by your spouse, right? It's okay. Those are natural feelings. Don't stay there, but those are natural feelings, right? So I think, so I wanted to say that, like, if your spouse does, say something that is truthful, honest, especially if you're saying that's what you want, and that's only if you want it. If you don't want your spouse being honest with you, then if you want them lying to you, then that's your truth, right? That's walk in it, right? But what I am stating is, if you want a completely radical, honest relationship with your significant other, when they do share those things, it's going to hurt you. And I think both parties have to understand that it's okay for it to hurt you, but you have to walk through it. If we say we teammates, we in this thing together, we planning to ride or die and all of that stuff, we Bonnie and Clyde and all of that stuff, then you have to understand you 2 different people, right? You 2 different people. And so I know it's sometimes with that time that I brought the food in, it probably hurt Jeff feelings. I didn't do it intentionally, but
you did do it.
Okay, that's your truth. Well, I'll get it. So, I'm not gonna fight you for your heaven, bro.
No, but you said the word there, like being able to communicate that and getting past that initial feeling you may have grew up to, and saying that you never saw your parents like tell the truth, and when they did, it was more of going back and forth, or more of a rustle, of just like, man, like I don't want to be that when I'm in a relationship. Or you see it as anything that's not a smooth, fun conversation is a negative. And some people avoid conflict. So you may be avoiding the truth of what's happening. DJ Envy and his wife, I can't think of his wife's name, they met his high school sweetheart. She said for 10 years, she was never able to orgasm with him because she was afraid to tell him the truth of what happened. And so when she did, he was finally like, oh, I would have done something different a long time ago. But get to that place. And so, yeah, she went 2 years. But now she said they're
good now. Yeah.
But I can guarantee somebody listening or watching right now is in that same boat saying, I don't want to hurt my spouse's feeling. Or the fact of maybe that person, like the thing is in this book too, on our way back, when we came back from the trip, was saying there was a man who had a lady who had gained some weight. And he was like, man, like the person I met, now this lady was a large lady before, she lost weight. She lost like 100 pounds. Met the guy in like 9 months. They got engaged, got married. 2 years later, her main thing was she was like, you should love me the way I am. And
she went back to what she
was like, I thought you should love me. For that man, it was like, oh no, well, I thought this came along with the package that I have. And now as soon as she got married, she quit a job and started eating. She was like, well, you got what you got. Yeah. You got what you got. And so, but the truth was, he was like, baby, listen, you gained. And so that telling the woman that's a death wish in the first place. That's a death wish. Yeah. But it had to be said because he's thinking that.
Yeah. And the thing about it is for that situation, like she came to him as a different purpose. It's
like just a smoke and mirrors.
Yeah. But he didn't see pictures of her. I'm assuming he didn't see pictures of her.
No, he didn't. No, he
before,
didn't.
When she was a plus size lady. So I think that's one of the things too, is you have to be honest and just communicate with your significant other. And then another thing too, when you go in having these honest conversations, go ahead and break down those walls and those barriers and don't be offensive. Because Jeffrey came to me, it was like, you're not being intimate with me and all of that stuff. And the thing about it wasn't that I didn't want to, and I was just tired. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it had nothing to do with Jeff at all. Like nothing at all. And he was having a
sexiness over here.
There we go. But he was like, he thought he was thinking, oh, I just didn't want him or I didn't desire him. It wasn't that. Heck, I'm just tired. It was literally, I was tired. And so it's about having those conversations because I think a lot of times, it's you assume things, right? You assume a lot of things, and that becomes your truth.
That was not true for me.
And so Jeff was assuming that I wasn't desiring him, but then he was walking it. That was his truth, right? But it wasn't that. It was just the fact that I was tired. So
So Megan trying to have a conversation. So hopefully anything else you left from the conversation, thinking, man, I need to have an honest conversation with my spouse, with my person I'm dating and I'm engaged to about this topic and about the 3 liars that we talked about, and maybe you're a part of that, maybe you're not a part of that. So I know y'all probably all get through this episode right here. If you have not, go ahead and hit the subscribe button too, because I want to come back to and talk about the attractiveness about a spouse, and also too the emotional needs for women. We talked about that too. A lot of nuggets out of this book too that I want to kind of get into. So stay along this journey.
I'm being honest, we got to hurry up because I feel parched.
So I think we can close out there. You feeling parched? So
I don't done my water. I've been working out. Look, about to eat these bed Come on.
I'm proud of you. So if you argue through this episode, we always like to end every conversation that we have with the Mr. Mantra, where we look at your spouse in the eyes and you say these 3 things. I like you, I love you, and I want you. Woo! Let's close this episode out and get some going, get some.
I gotta go.
That's my truth. That's my truth.
Alrighty.
So listen, we love you. Yeah. God loves you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. Come back with us new episodes every Tuesday of the Mr. and Mrs. Mr. Podcast, where our goal is to have 7 million couples. We need you. So come along this journey with us. I'm talking to you. Go ahead and get along with us right now. Love y'all, man. God loves you. And you can do about it. What? Like, subscribe. Listen, it's free and it helps us reach 7 million couples all around the world. Tap it.